Hey guys, it's Siriusly cosplay here. I'm here to basically show you how to put long hair under. Obviously I have less long hair than I used to because I have, when I turn the right way, I shaved a bit there. But obviously when I had a lot more hair, there's still quite a lot of hair here. And trying to get that, say, under a short wig is quite difficult. And I do kind of get asked the question quite a bit of how the heck I put all this under a wig, because there are loads of different techniques. Again, what you'll probably need is a hairbrush. It's got loads of hair on it, it's just attractive. A couple of hair bubbles, a couple of bobby pins, 2 or 3, and then your wig, which I've just got my Raven wig right here in this little bag. And I tend to use wig caps. Now, wig caps, you can get the sort of fishnetty type ones, which are literally got a big hole at the back of them. Or you can use like the closed net ones, which basically look like a pair of tights. So you've got kind of no hole in that one. I'm a little bit of a weirdo and kind of use both. Because for me, basically your aim with putting a wig on is to try and get your hair as flat as possible underneath it, so it all kind of fits underneath the wig. I've got a couple of different ways I do this. If I really can't be bothered, or I'm just putting on just say for a video or something, I usually always start with the fishnetty one. I'm going to call it the fishnetty one, I don't know what the actual name is. And I'll just kind of put, like, I'll pull it over my head and then kind of start at the front and kind of pull it all back. Now, as you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, there's quite a lot of hair still there outside of the cap. So I'll just kind of twist it up. I should have put my camera down a little bit for this. And kind of tuck it into the back, because like I said, it's open at the back. So literally you have it all kind of tucked in. So that's fairly, well, she says fairly flat when you pull it forward. Fairly flat and fairly kind of on the head, but it's still quite bobbly at the back. So if you put a wig over that, it will sit really weird. So for me, if I'm doing it this way, I'll tend to stick the other wig cap over the top as well. Just basically because it makes like a nice kind of layer. It just makes it nice and flat. Again, these wig caps are ancient. I find them a lot comfier. So see how it's quite flat? There's a little bit of bubbling on the top and a little bit kind of at the back. And then right at the back, I don't know if you can see, like my hairline is still kind of exposed. So if I was wearing a short wig, it wouldn't really be great because the hairline at the back would kind of show underneath the short wig. I also always use a stretchy headband as well, and that's basically so that the wigs don't itch me, because I find them really itchy in general to wear. So I can put that over the top. Oh, she says trying to pull it over, and that is pretty much me ready to go with the wig, essentially, because I find that the stretchy headband, as well as making it comfy, it kind of pulls up any stray hairs you might have. And again, right at the back, it's not doing its job properly there. So that's one method that I tend to use if I really can't be bothered, if you need it to stay in place all day. If I'm using a short wig, or I'm using like something that needs to stay in place, say I'm going to a con all day, I will tend to plait my hair. So again, you've got the option of just plaiting one side if you want, or you can do like say 2 plaits, just normal plaits. We'll just kind of split it on the middle and kind of plait it somehow. I tend to use French plaits because they keep my hair a lot closer to the head. Again, there are other methods like pin curling and that kind of thing as well. But again, it's just what works best for you. Like for me, pin curling, because you've got bobby pins and stuff involved, it just really hurts my head when I put the wig on top. So I tend not to do that. I tend to just do a couple of French plaits. So I'll just split my hair roughly in 2. It doesn't need to be super neat because it's going under a wig. And then I'll just kind of, I'm literally using the camera as a mirror, it's great. So, I'll just kind of grab part of the hair there. Again, if you know how to French plait, that's fair enough. And again, there's tons of tutorials and things on YouTube how to French plait if you don't know. But again, I've been asked a few times at cons to French plait people's hair. So you just basically put in the plait over like you would do normally, and grab a little bit from one side, kind of add it in. Again, these are not going to be the neatest plaits in the world because they're going under a wig, I don't really care. My main aim is to try and keep it as flat to my head as possible. And I'm more successful than you know, that sometimes than others. But I'm just trying to keep it as flat as possible. This is the easier side for me because obviously I've got less hair. I have a shaved bit of my hair now. but I've always kind of used this method and it's always worked quite well. And just continue to add little bits in as I go along until I have no hair left, basically, on this side. So just make sure you get all these little end bits up, because these are the bits that might stick out at the end and cause you problems. Then once I've got all the extra bits in, I just do like a normal plait in, so just 3 strands straight over each other. Normal plait all the way down to the end. Just stick it around a few times. Again, there's no art to this really, just kind of chuck it in the head. Yeah, so it's nice and tight and it holds the thing. I've got a little plait. And then basically the same on the other side. Plaiting all the way to the end. So now you're like a 12-year-old child or Pippi Longstocking, as the case may be. It looks ridiculous, but you're like, oh well. And then I tend to use the same method I used before, so with the sort of fishnetty one. The reason why I use this one first is mostly because it'll just kind of pull all your hair up and out of the way, whereas I don't find the other one really does that as much. Again, some people, well in fact most people would tend to use one or the other and not both. I actually find that both works best, but see how the plaits can kind of go, you can kind of move them around a lot more than you could with ponytails, with just having the hair loose. So I can literally take that plait and move it to wherever I want. So if you have longer hair than I do, and obviously your plaits sort of go down longer, you can literally wrap them around your head, kind of in the little thing. So I could do that, and literally see where the end of my hair is there, you could keep going around. And the same with the other side. So as long as they're not kind of on top of each other, kind of like next to each other, so say, you can actually see this quite well because I'm blonde at the end. See how I've got both of them? You want to kind of make sure your side bits here are quite flat. And then sort of your back as well, but see how, if I pull it off my ears, see how at the back it's a lot neater? There's a lot less hair kind of filling out at the end there. Again, I'll tend to use both anyway, so I tend to do this one as well, just to make it a little bit flatter. I'm wearing my little headband as well, because I like a little headband. So again, I keep turning around, I keep not knowing if I can actually see this or not, but I don't actually see at the back. It's a lot neater at the back, so I could basically put like a short wig over that now and it wouldn't really show as much. But if I grab my long wig, it's just in its bag, and I usually keep the net around it as well. Now, I will preface this by saying I'm pretty horrendous at putting on wigs. There is like a method of doing it. I just kind of chuck it on my head and see what happens. So I always kind of start at the front and try and situate it where the pattern should be, and then kind of just pull it over the sides and down at the back. So I want that kind of in the middle. It's supposed to be well, no, it's not supposed to be a side pattern, I think. Hang on. No, it's supposed to be middle pattern. Right, see how like at the side you can still kind of see my wig cap underneath? If I kind of just pull the sides down where they should be, you shouldn't be able to see that anymore. So I'm literally just pulling it down behind my ears and then just making sure it's all down at the back as well. Because again, the thing with long wigs is obviously you can see on the back that you can't see any of the back, so it doesn't really matter if you just have your hair in the first method. And then what I'll normally do as well is I'll pin in my wig, at 3 points at least. So I'll pin it in at each side because this is where it tends to sort of try and ride up. So I'm literally just pinning between my hair, the wig caps and the band and the actual wig. It just kind of pins it in place and stops it moving. Which is always good when you do things like running around with banda. And you're jumping, you're rugby tackling people, for example. Or you're jumping off stages and things. It tends to just keep it in place. So I'll do sort of one at each side. Then I'll do one right at the back of the wig. I can probably see it better if I do a short wig in a second. But essentially I'm pinning it like underneath again between my hair and all the wig caps and everything. So that wig is not moving anywhere. And if you really want security, put one like at the crown of your head, just like a little bobby pin there. And that'll keep it, it won't move. It pretty much won't move. Obviously you do have like lace front wigs as well, which is basically gluing down. So you can use the actual wig tape that you can get, or you can use, say, spirit gum or the other one that Prozade, there you go, that's the one I was trying to think of. I personally am still actually yet to use my lace front properly. I have a Legolas lace front. I've still yet to finish off the Legolas. So I've actually not used it before, but for example, I know Millie is a really good person for lace fronts. There are other people around that are good at lace fronts. I'll try and give you a link to Millie's stuff below because she's really good. But yes, there are lots of different wigs. I'm going to show you as well how it works with the short wig. So everything that pins out. Handy. So, Nick is obviously quite short at the back, as you can see. So that's kind of where the difference is going to lie. So if I put Nick on, which is going to look beautiful, Nick's going to look gorgeous with his girly makeup. Again, try and centre where it should be and don't just chuck it on your head like I do. You can kind of feel, because it's got like little flaps that kind of go on at the sides and at the back. Try and put them in the centre, if you possibly can. Nick is a little bit squished from being in his box, but I don't know. Right, okay, so where's my pins gone? Hiding under the long wig. Right, so pins again. So I just pin at this side. Again, just pin so nothing's sort of showing there. You can see a little bit of sideburn, but that's cool with Nick. And this side's a little bit messy. Nick would be shocked at how messy his hair is. He would not like it. So that's both sides pinned in. That little bit there just does not want to lie flat. You need some hairspray. Right, so that's both the sides pinned in, and then at the back, if you look at the back, I'll try and show you like where the edge of the thing is. So you see where my hair is on the edge of the wig. And kind of pull that down. It just covers my hair there. So if I had the other wig on, or if I had the other method on, it would show. And that's where I'm just popping the pin in at the back now. So you can kind of see the pin at the back. Again, depending on the colour of your wig. For me, it doesn't really matter too much because I'm like, well, I'm wearing a wig. You've got to see a pin. Sorry. But obviously if you want to sort of not have that pin, you don't necessarily have to. I just like to have the security of all the pins so I don't run around like a maniac. But yeah, that's basically it. Any questions or anything, feel free to ask in the comments or pop on my Facebook and ask on Facebook, either Bandersnatch or on Seriously. Yeah, and just ask any questions if you have any. If you want any other videos or anything, just let me know. Right, cheers guys.